So today we've been out riding some mopeds. I'm with my colleagues Ollie, who's a recently qualified rider, and Sarah, who commutes regularly on a 50cc moped. We've been evaluating 3 very different models from different manufacturers at different price points. First up we've got the Lexmoto Echo, £749. It is one of the cheapest scooters on the market. Lexmoto, big brand, 3rd biggest selling brand in the UK. They're not a manufacturer, they actually import Chinese bikes of various models, rebrand them. What do we think, guys?
For me, you can tell it only costs £749. I mean, it's very plasticky. The ride height isn't very comfortable. I have a Lexmoto at home, but I've paid more money for it, and I can tell just by sitting on the bike that it's definitely cheaper than the one that I own.
Ollie, any thoughts on Lexmoto?
Yeah, it's all right. I agree with Sarah, you can tell it's a little bit cheaper, but you get what you pay for, and you do have a scooter there that is good enough to commute to work on. Some of the alternatives, the branded alternatives, are almost twice the price, and you've got to think, is that worth it for a 50cc scooter?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about then the Honda, which is at the other end of the scale. Almost £1,900 for the Honda. Surely it can't be worth that extra.
I have to say the Honda is my favourite. I think the position when you're riding it, the fact that when you're braking, as a girl, my hands are naturally smaller, that you're braking, that my hands are comfortable on the handlebars. Just the seat as well is so much comfortable compared to the Lexmoto. It's just, yeah, that's...
I mean, I agree, it does feel quality, it feels more substantial, and you know that you're going to have a good dealer network, and all those sort of things that you take for granted are going to be there. Interestingly, it was the slowest. I mean, we haven't really had enough time to really truly give great fuel consumption figures, but Honda say 147 miles to the gallon, which would make that the most economical here. So although it is the most expensive, one would assume you'd save a little bit of money on the fuel, and your resale value, we would think, would be...
Yeah, I think it also depends on your commute as well. I mean, for me, 2-3 miles away from work, all through streets, going up 30-40, it makes no difference because you're restricted by the speed limit anyway. So I think the fact that it's slightly slower than the other two wouldn't put me off.
Which I guess kind of brings us to the other bike we brought, which is right in the middle in terms of price. We bought Peugeot's Kisbee. Peugeot, obviously a French brand, they reckon this is the biggest selling model in the European Union. Base model's 1199, a little bit more expensive as we've tested it in the slightly more upmarket RS version. I liked it.
It's a good happy medium between the two. It's a more affordable price, and it feels quality, just like the Honda. It's got a good little engine in it. Throttle response is really good. Yeah, I can't really fault it.
Yeah, I can't really criticise a Peugeot. It's just the little details, like the size of the seat, obviously the riding position again. Just
there are a few things. I mean, it doesn't really have the same storage as the other two. It doesn't have a side stand. There's little things where it doesn't quite have the same spec. But for me, it was definitely my favourite of the 3.
Yeah.
But knowing how much they cost, that Lexmoto, and they even do one even cheaper than that. They do one at 649, and there's people selling scooters at just over 500 quid. Look, we'll be a while deciding which one we actually like the best and which one we want to ride back home. But you want to read the full review, get along to bikesocial.co.uk to read about this and much more.